There is no sound in this world more terrifying than hearing your own child decide where your grave should be dug.
There is no sound in this world more terrifying than hearing your own child decide where your grave should be dug. And there is no wound more painful than realizing the same hands you once guided with love are the ones sealing your coffin. Many may think this is some tale from a dark movie, but it is the true story of my life. My name is Eleanor Hayes, and at 75 years old, I had to fight my way out of the earth my own daughter chose for me. I speak today because silence would bury me all over again. If you are listening, please leave a comment and subscribe, because some truths must travel far and wide. The first thing I felt was the smell of wet dirt pressing against my nose. The second thing was the voice of my own daughter, saying in a calm tone, "Right here is fine. Not too deep." I did not move. I did not scream. My mind tried to escape to a place where none of this was true. But the truth sat on my chest, heavier than the soil above me. I raised my daughter with my bare hands. I gave her food when I had none for myself. I stitched her torn dresses. I sang her to sleep. And I shielded her from every storm. The first time she held my finger as a baby, I swore no harm would ever touch her. I carried that promise in my bones for decades. But as I lay in that shallow grave, her voice above me broke that promise into pieces. How could the child I once carried on my back now carry a shovel over my body? Memories rushed back like waves. Her first laugh, her first steps. Her little hands were clutching mine on her first day of school. Those hands that once sought protection had now pushed me into the dark. My tears fell silently, soaking into the dirt, because I realized something cruel. Sometimes the people you love most sharpen the knife that cuts the deepest. She was not always this way. My daughter once filled our home with light. She was my only companion when the nights grew long. But something changed. The sweetness in her eyes turned cloudy. She began leaving the house late, her phone always pressed to her ear, speaking in whispers she thought I could not hear. She hid letters and envelopes from me. The warmth in her hugs grew cold, like an embrace meant only to cover a lie. I told myself it was just youth, just stress, just the world pulling her in new directions. A mother always believes her child will return. But instead of coming back, she walked further into the darkness. I should have seen the signs, but love made me blind. And now, blind, I was lying beneath the soil, listening to her betrayal with my own ears. The truth came like a dagger. My daughter had fallen into the hands of dangerous people. She owed them something far heavier than money, and they demanded a payment she could not give. So she chose me, her own mother. To her, my life became a currency, a solution, a sacrifice. She thought no one would question the death of an old woman. She thought the earth would swallow her crime. I was her answer to a debt I never created. My blood was her bargain. As the dirt pressed harder on my chest, I understood that betrayal is not always born from hatred. Sometimes it is born from fear, greed, or desperation. But that knowledge did not soften the blow. It only burned my heart more fiercely. Inside the grave, I tried to understand. Was this truly only about debt, or was it about something deeper? I remembered moments when she looked at me not with love, but with resentment. The times she spoke under her breath about how hard her life had been. Had I missed the signs that jealousy and anger had grown in her heart? Was this about money, or was it about a child who saw her mother as a shadow too heavy to carry? The soil became more than just dirt. It became the weight of secrets never spoken between us. My chest heaved. My tears mixed with mud. And in that suffocating moment, I knew this was not only about paying back strangers. It was about burying my body, soul, and memory. When the last shovel of dirt hit the ground, I whispered my final prayer. But it was not for me. It was for her. I begged God to touch her heart, even if mine stopped beating that very moment. A mother's love does not die, even under the earth. I prayed that her soul would one day find peace. I prayed she would be forgiven for burying the woman who gave her life. My body trembled. The cold soil wrapped around me like chains. I thought I had taken my last breath, but the flame inside me refused to die. Something stronger than fear rose inside me. Survival. My fingers tore through the mud. My nails ripped, blood mixing with the soil. Every root I pulled, every rock I pushed, felt like death fighting to hold me back. I clawed and clawed until my hands were raw. My lungs screamed for air, and my heart pounded against my ribs like a drum of war. I told myself, not here, not like this, not by her hands. Hours felt like days. Pain became my companion. But inch by inch, I pushed myself upward, like a seed breaking through the earth toward the Sunday. At last, I broke through. I gasped. The night air filled my lungs like a gift I thought I would never taste again. I was alive. I stumbled toward the old house, my body broken, my spirit trembling. In the mirror, I did not see the Eleanor I once knew. I saw a woman covered in mud, streaked with blood, eyes burning with fire. I was no longer only a mother. I was a survivor, and in my reflection, I saw the truth clear as day. Betrayal had changed me. I could never go back to the woman I was before. My heart was cracked, my trust shattered, but I was still standing. And sometimes, standing is enough to declare victory. I walked into the house and found her there. My daughter, my flesh and blood. She froze when she saw me, as if she had seen a ghost. The silence between us was louder than thunder. She could not speak. I could not stop shaking, every word caught in my throat, but my eyes told her everything. I had crawled back from the grave she dug, and nothing in this world would erase that truth. She looked at me with fear, guilt, and something else I could not name. For the first time, she was the one who trembled. Now, at 75 years old, I tell my story. Not for pity, not for revenge, but for truth. Some wounds are too heavy to keep buried. I survived the grave my own daughter planned for me, but many do not survive the grave's betrayal digs in their hearts. If you are hearing this, remember, the deepest cuts are not made by strangers. They come from the ones closest to you. Betrayal wears a familiar face. I share my story so no one else will stay silent in the dark. Some truths, no matter how painful, must be told, because silence is another kind of grave.